We're going to talk about your Mets.
Let's talk about the Mets, maybe.
Yeah, let's talk about the Mets. I'll throw this one to you then, Peter, to start out, and I'll roundtable it after. But I was talking to you guys about it before, and this is not to mess with you about the Baty thing. It's actually about the logjam we've got going on, right? Peter, if you have to give me your infield alignment for the Mets right now, who do you want to see in that starting lineup? Because we're just talking about the starting lineup and the logjam over for the Yankees, right? So let's do that for the Mets. Who are you looking at in that lineup starting in the infield? What do you like? Who's riding the bench? Because for me, it's looking like an easier answer, and I want to know how you feel about it.
Or the whole team.
You can give me the whole team if the answers are related. I'll take that from you.
All right, obviously Alvia catcher, Pete at first, Cunha second, Lindor shortstop, Brett Baty third because I want Vientos DHing because his defense at third gives me agita, and in the outfield, Soto in right, Nimmo in left, and just kind of figure it out in center field.
So I guess it has to be McNeil. You're putting Baty at third.
No, wait. Sorry, what was that?
You could put Trent Grisham in center field.
No. Seriously, Ray, what was your question? I didn't hear you.
No, I was saying, are you just putting Baty at third to piss me off here? Are you having fun here? Because
well, no, I mean, because is Vientos a good defensive third baseman?
No, but is Baty a good anything?
He's great at killing worms. I don't know if his launch angle was all negative. And he hit the ball real hard. He's killing a lot of worms.
You're right. He's great at taking 92-mile-an-hour fastballs down the dick and looking at him and getting comparisons to Starling Marte when he strikes out. Absolutely. Baty should not be in that lineup. Don't do this
right
to
now,
me.
Yes.
Well, no.
But is McNeil? What is McNeil doing?
Put McNeil at DH for Christ's sake.
Oh no, because
isn't McNeil hurt right now?
No, McNeil's he's back. He's okay, but he was not 100%. But the way I look at it's everyone's hurt on the Mets. But
that's the reason why McNeil's there because it's his defensive versatility. He's too good of a defender to take him off.
Luis Angel Acuna, I think, has played his way into time at second base. Not only defensively, but he's starting to hit the ball a little better. I don't know if either of you guys have seen anything on that Ash and Luke, but I'm really liking some Luis Angel Acuna and what he's doing at second base there. And my take is that unless Vientos' defense at third starts costing us multiple games, I'm still putting him at third and putting McNeil in the lineup at DH because I feel that gives us the most pop. I'm not going to force Baty into the lineup right now because I know you like him. I know you want to give him time, Peter. I know. But for me, it's just, even with Winker out, there's no space for him.
But it's not even a I love Brett Baty thing. Vientos has not showed any significant improvement at third base defensively. You can't move him to first because Pete's there. Brett Baty, his defense on third and second has looked above, if not just slightly above average. McNeil, right now you don't really have a lot of outfielders, so you kind of McNeil has to be in the outfield. So it's not so much about I love Brett Baty. It's, you could put older guys in, but Brett right now, he's still young. Is he going to be anything? Honestly, probably not. But you have to do your due diligence to at least figure it out. He got brought up way too early. Vientos got the time in AAA to figure out hitting. Baty only went up after 60 at bats. Obviously, he's back. He's been back and forth a little bit, but you have to give it a legitimate, honest attempt to say, okay, give him a stretch of games. Is he a guy or is he not? And if he's not, then let him die in AAA or let him sit in AAA or trade him off to somewhere else. You need to give him legitimate time to prove yes or no.
So let me ask you guys this question because I'm not too familiar with the Mets and I don't watch as much as you guys do. When we talk about Vientos' defense, especially at third base, are we talking like Rafi Devers level here, or is it slightly better than that?
I'd say Rafi Devers level. He struggles to make throws to first and home plate. If bases loaded situations, he did it in the NLCS. He couldn't throw home on with a guy on third. it's pretty bad.
I don't think it's that bad, but it's definitely not good. I'll be honest, it's not good, but for me, it's just like I said, if it starts costing us multiple games, I'm going to sit there and say, okay, what's the problem, right? But you look at the Mets pitchers' ERAs and things like that. Baby, the Mets pitching is fine. If the defense is working, the ERA is working, the FIP, it's all looking okay right now for these guys. The Mets are figuring out fine with Vientos at third. And I don't look at Baty as an offensive option, so I'm not looking to put his bat in the lineup. I'll put Tyrone Taylor in center field as a guy who, because of his defensive utility, and let him bat in the back third of my lineup, right? But I don't feel like doing that with Baty. I don't see that it's giving me anything on. We're fighting for average defense and a below average bat. I'd rather work with the fact that Vientos might be a bit of a liability at third playing the ball and get at least the league average bat in there in a guy like McNeil.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's Winker can't come back any sooner. Did they bring a timetable on that? Because I know at first they put him on the 10-day.
6 to 8 weeks was 6 to 8 weeks. So we've got about 2 months without him because of that strain. So we've got about 2 months to figure this one out. I know that Ronnie Mauricio is a guy that there's talk about him coming back up as well, and that'll create more of a logjam. But we'll see how that goes, because he would naturally be somewhere at second base, but Luisangel Acuna is trying to figure out his way to claim second base for the Mets right now in that bottom third of the lineup, and he plays great defense. So I don't think it's an easy answer. I agree with you, Peter, about the fact that you do want to see what you have. I just feel like the Mets kind of know what they have, and I feel like they know what they have with Baty, and it's not as bright as they hoped it would be. Yeah, Ash, do you have any thoughts on any of that, like Baty, Acuna, McNeil? I know you know some of the guys.
I do, and I am starting to think that the Mets are going to have to stop having as much patience as maybe we might think that they have to allow. And the reason being is a lot of these guys are struggling at the plate. Vientos, it looked like there for a while in the last couple of weeks of April that he might be coming to life, but the last week he's been very poor at the plate again. Jeff McNeil is not hitting. Right now, the Mets are 11th in baseball in runs scored. That's not going to get it done if you have aspirations to win the World Series. We talked about in the offseason, in the spring training leading up to this opening day, the big concern was the rotation. So if the rotation regresses to where you guys were kind of talking about and the offense doesn't pick it up, the Mets could be in real trouble. So these guys have got to get their bats going. Jeff McNeil last year was really struggling at the plate the first half and didn't get it going until July. I don't know that the Mets have that long to wait this year. They have got to get some of these bats going.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you. Luckily, the Mets have really built up their farm system in the past couple of years, and they have legitimate players to either call up or trade. I would say they have a bevy of riches in pitching depth that they could definitely trade away for if you want to get a more substantial pitcher or a bat or two in there to kind of shake things up. Ram, what do you think about the Mets prospect depth? Do you think it's good enough where you can get a guy or two, like a real solid guy?
So I feel like the Mets, especially with Stearns overlooking everything now, have become a lot more confident in holding on to their guys when it comes to their prospects. And I'm comfortable with that. There are going to be moves that we're going to need to make. I'm sure we're going to have to move a prospect for a lefty reliever or something down the line. We might have another injury where we need to trade for a bat. Ash mentioned some very real concerns about the offense, right? If this is a team with real playoff aspirations, real division winning aspirations, which it looks like they're trying to show that they can do, we don't want to be sitting here debating Baty, Vientos, McNeil, and that kind of alignment at the end of the lineup. We need to get another bat in there. I see that Kenny mentions trading for Arenado. That's a change of scenery guy that some people have brought up. Christian Cardona says trade Sproat, so it's one of those things here where I don't know. Sproat is one of those guys that had a lot of shine going into the season, but because of guys like McLean, some people are saying that he's not the best pitching prospect in the Mets system anymore. That's yet to be seen.
I've always said Sproat is a reliever long term, so.
Yeah, and McLean's getting a lot more love. I think there's a lot of strength on the pitching side of the Mets prospect depth, and it looks good. So if they wanted to trade for somebody, they could. I do not think that's an option they want to take because they do want to hold on to their guys and figure out what they got. That is also the typical Stearns mentality. You don't see him just throwing prospects away for rentals or things like that. I do not expect that to change, and I like that. So I think they're going to try to figure out internally as much as they can